with side hustles, it can vary. A side hustle could be something I do on the weekend. It could be something I just do after work. It could be a whole business. It could be, so I don't know. I think it depends. So to answer that, I probably would say no. Or yes, I would hire someone with a side hustle, because if you're calling it a side hustle, maybe it's not interfering with your day-to-day life.
I mean,
I don't know.
we call our cleaning business a side hustle. And
is it really
a side hustle?
When we started off, we called it that, but now it's not that. It wasn't that from the beginning, probably. Yeah. We just didn't identify it as that. So I would say yes, I would hire, especially I think in this day and age, a lot of jobs aren't really paying enough. So
yeah, that's a good point.
People need side hustles. People need other income, and why stop you from making income outside of whatever you're doing for me? If I was a company, is how I see it.
I agree. How many hobbies do you think a person needs?
I don't know, but like people play the piano, or they
listen,
or they sing,
if you say you're passionate about working out, and I ask you what are your hobbies, I'm like, that's fine with me. That's an answer. It doesn't have to be a job that you're passionate about or a side hustle.
I guess you just think like so. If somebody said like watching TV, is that enough for you?
Nah. You're not the person that's gonna have a side hustle, so you aren't even in this question if that's your answer.
Wow. Okay. So now are we judging the watching?
Yeah, I like TV. Like, okay, cool. All right.
That literally might be the only thing that you do after like work.
That's fine. It's just not fine for me.
Okay. All right. Fair.
But I want to know that you're passionate, or you do something that you enjoy outside of work. That's all. Right. So when you talk about side hustles, and the question goes back to, all right, would you hire someone to do a job if they had a side hustle? Mm-hmm. You're saying you would do it, but if you're an employer and now you are running your company based off of the people that are doing the job, and you know in the back of their mind that they're doing the side hustle because either A, did not get enough money, or B, they need passions, how do you stop them from, not stop them, but how do you make sure that they're putting 110% into what you've built?
Nobody's putting 110% into what they built. Let me rephrase, because then people could be like, I put 110% in my job. If you think about it, for most people, you have a 9 to 5. How many hours are you really working at that 9 to 5? I mean, maybe if you're like a nurse or a teacher, like those are kind of like definitely because you got to be physically
in front of people.
Yeah, those are like definitely on the clock, and I'm sure there's other roles like that
too. You can't not work as a teacher either.
Right. You're in front of like 30 people, exactly, nurse and stuff like that. So there's certain jobs I get, that you're like there 20, like I'm on 8 hours, they get every single 8 hour. But realistically, I think that if you actually measure, like put a timer on as to how many hours you are really spending at the job or doing work for the job at your 9 to 5, it probably would show you that you ain't giving the 110%.
Yeah.
When Good Morning America came to us in January 2020, I think we had 3,000 and something followers at that time.
Yeah, and we were posting. It wasn't even about the followers. It was more about just us sharing our story.
Yep.
So when they found us, it wasn't like, oh, you guys got a big...
we were on.
SoFi. It wasn't like you guys got a big following. It was like, no, we love what you guys are doing, and we love the story, which was the original reason we started the page.
Yeah. Most people knew us for debt payoff. Now I think our page has grown more for the cleaning business, but the debt payoff is really how it started. And that's why we had the Instagram page, sharing, letting people know that it's possible, letting people know what we've done. You can do it. You could do it differently. You can ask questions. We're pretty much an open book. We're always talking about our stories, sharing other people's stories, letting people know what we found out from his podcast that he listened to.
And that's another major key right there too, is sharing the information. So anytime if my family and friends know, obviously you, but family and friends know, anytime I get new information, I am sharing it. I'm putting it in the group chat. I'm putting it in a text message. I'm putting it on Instagram. I'm putting it in the stories. And that's the biggest thing about sharing the information that we learn, which is one of the reasons why we continue to do this journey too.
It's very crazy. We went from having debt and never considering paying off debt to paying it off 2018 and then soon to be millionaires sometime soon. Sheesh. Right? Sometime soon is the phrase, because any day now, right? Any day now.
Sheesh.
So that is it's kind of it's mind-boggling, because I never thought pay off debt, but never thought that I would be a millionaire.
Why
like
is that?
wasn't. It's just not what you know or think of. It's not what
Why?
you. I don't know who teaching me. You to ask my parents. Like who you want to ask?
I don't know.
It's not what I ever heard of, and not to say I don't have millionaires in my family. I possibly could, and I just don't know. Right.
So that's what the issue is. Then people don't have to share what their pockets entails, what their pockets are.
Right.
But knowing. Talking about money more in our communities too, which is another reason why we started it.
Talking about it to make it just a conversation that you can have with your partner, with your friends, with your family, and like our friends, we're very open about finances.
You could Google our salaries, like it's out there.
I think the knowledge from people that look like us, specifically to be a black person, people that look like us, I think is so important because you just feel like you don't belong. And that's why people push like having black dolls and having black books and all this stuff like that, because you only see like your family. And if your family isn't doing it, then you don't know about it. You don't know that it's possible. But if you just see one person doing it that may look like you, then it feels a bit more like you can reach it, attain it.
And that's a good point too, because when I was seeing these stories on Instagram, it was all other races. Yeah. So we're talking about debt payoffs. You're seeing all these other races, which is super dope. I'm not hating, but it was like, whoa, why can't we? Where are our stories at? Where are people posting our stories? So when we got more into the space,
and I still think we're the minority in the space.
Oh
though.
yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to like the wealth conversation or the generational wealth or just the financial literacy conversation. We're still the minorities, but when we started posting more, we got more networking opportunities. We learned more about other people in this space too. And when we just started, it was just a cute hashtag to do.
Yeah. And you just start and you start sharing and you be yourself, you're sincere, and people will come to you. Let people know what your expertise is or what your knowledge is. And that is another thing. Like, you don't even have to be the most knowledgeable, whatever the most knowledgeable is. People just want to get to where you are. So you're just like ahead somehow. Like, so there's been people that are in the cleaning business longer than us, of course. And they will have more knowledge than us. But those of you, some of you just want to get to the point that we're at, and then you continue to grow from there. So I think people also sometimes think, well, I need to know more, or I don't really know how to do this part of it. Just get people to your part, and that can be enough as well.
Well, you got to have some information. Don't just start.
Well, yeah.
Don't just start. And then day one, you're like, all right, I want to get people to day one. There's people that do that. It's like, oh, I got my first property. I'm going to teach you how to do real estate. Nah, I would never teach somebody real estate from my first and only property.
Having some type of proof as well, I think is important. Some type of proof would be important for people to vouch for you.
I did one cleaning, and I'll teach you how to start a cleaning business. Nah, we've been doing this. We were doing this for 4 years. We've been doing this 2.5 years before we launched the course.
Yes. And in it fully. Like, we don't have, even to this day, we don't have an operations manager. The plan is to do so, but and we've been in it completely in the business. So
someone asked us about starting a virtual assistant business, and we said we don't know how.
We have no idea.
We've never started one.
No, we just bought the business. So we refer you to somebody that we know that do help with that. Yeah. And that's the thing with having a network. We can refer you to people. Like, we don't need to take it all in. We don't need to do it all. Like, if we don't know it, I have no problem referring you to somebody else. If you ask me about the cleaning business, I'm referring you to me. Yeah.
Of course.